Good morning, my friends. The sun is rising. You see the first shades of the sunrise. That was some night. It was really cold. It still is. Oh. Besides being cold, it was actually quite enjoyable. And you see this? You see the condensation? So there is a dew, at least here in the desert. Remember I told you about this before I went to sleep, that I put my hammock over me just in case there is dew. And you see, that's actually exactly the places where, you see, I have the insides of the crocs. These crocs had these things on their insides, very warm, and where these things were putting, that was my soul, where these insides were keeping the hammock off my skin a good distance, so it's not warm, so the condensation got there, because everything that is cold, it gets the water vapor condensated on it. And on myself there seems to be, a little bit kind of, no, but not really, little bit wet, but not really a condensation, because I'm warm. So that was kind of okay. I remember from Antoine de Saint-Exupéry, you know that guy who wrote the, how it will be in English, Little Prince? Probably. He was catching drinking water with parachute cloth in desert, catching the dew. So that's what I remembered. And yes, it really is true. You see the amount of water on my crocs. If you catch a good amount, good parachute cloth size fabric, and you catch it in your jar or wherever, you might get enough water for the day. Maybe. I wouldn't risk it without experience, but yeah, maybe it's possible. Sun is rising finally. Finally. I was waiting for that for a long time. It was really cold. It really was cold. And it was getting cold something 2 hours after the sunset. And the longer I was here, the colder it got. And maybe 1 hour before now was the coldest, before the very sunset. It was like 40 minutes before the sunset itself when it got light, but the moon is very nice. It is like a little bit more than half moon, but it was, when it rised, it was so bright I could actually see around quite easily, and before that I could see the stars. But yeah, I was often waking up, like every hour or 2 hours, I think, I don't know. A few times I looked at my watch, but not too many. And I was waking up, and I was tensioning all my muscles for as long as I could. And I was keeping parts of my body off the ground for a couple centimeters to tension my muscles for as long as I could, absolutely, pressing out the maximum. And that way I was heating up myself. And it was still difficult. Like when I was working out like crazy like this, I got heated up, So then it was good, and then I fell asleep again, and after an hour or hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, I woke up again from it was cold. It was really cold. But other than that, this place I think was good as it could be. And to wake up to this view is also very good. Especially, I'm so grateful that the sun is back. I was so much waiting for the sun. And I was thinking, I was looking at my clock and thinking, it is 2 in the night. And it is still, I was calculating how many more hours do I have till sunrise. I had saved a screenshot of sunrise and sunset, so I knew that I might want to know it. And yeah, I was counting hours, how many I still have till the sunrise. But it's there. It's there. It's so good. It will be heating up now, and will be a nice day probably. It's amazing how big the temperature differences can get in the desert. During day it's hot like a frying pan, and during night it's cold, cold, cold. And even you see the moisture condensating and everything that is cold. Let's see what's going on here. The inside as well, wet. Not so much. Because it was warmer. And it was on the ground. And the ground was reasonably warm. Well, it got cold. I don't think it was so good. It got cold as well. But it didn't get as cold as the tops. You can actually see where it was closer to ground, there's no condensation, but on the top, which got colder, a lot of condensation. Oh, I'm quite stiff. So that is my bed. That was my bed for the night.